Hi everybody and welcome to another video. This time around we're going to review the RS-BA1 software package. This is the remote control software package that was released with the IC-9100 to allow you to control the front panel remotely over a LAN, via a USB cable, or more interestingly via the internet. I'm going to review the package in three parts. Firstly, I'm going to look at connecting the radio via USB to the remote panel software. Then I'm going to look at how the server is set up, and finally how you connect across the internet and how it performs. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's been an interesting time checking the package, and I can honestly say I'm very pleased with it and very impressed with it. I hope you will be too. Installing the package is very easy. Just click on the setup and it will run the software, install the drivers and install the two parts of the program. The main thing to remember is not to have the radio connected to the PC while you're doing this. Don't connect the USB cable from the IC-9100 to the laptop until you've installed all the software and all the drivers. That way it will pick up the right USB ports, the right comms ports, and more importantly, the right drivers. I know that a number of people have had problems with this, and it really is important that you don't connect the radio until all this is done. On connecting the radio the first time around, it'll find the drivers and actually install the sub-packages with it. That way it'll pick up the right COM ports, of which there are two for the IC-9100, and it'll also pick up the right audio drivers as well. Doing it this way, I found that the install was relatively easy and fairly painless. So let's look at how the remote panel connects the radio via USB. As I said before, there are two parts to the package. First off, there's one package called Remote Control Utility, and this is the part that handles the internet connectivity, the server, passwords, usernames and access to the radios, etc. It also provides a virtual COM port driver, allowing you to control the CIV ports over the internet, and also sets up the audio channels. The second part to it is the Remote Control Panel part, and this can be used in a number of ways. Firstly, it can be used via a USB cable and the CIV port as a kind of remote panel on the PC next to you on the desk, or it allows you to pick up the remote USB CIV data and allow you to control it over the internet. So first of all, I'm going to look at how this works locally.
Okay, so let's have a look at the two parts to the software: the remote control part, which is the actual panel itself, as you can see for the little icon, and the remote utility, which is the part that handles USB audio and the CIV data. Just a reminder, to install the software, just run the executable in this package. Do not have the radio connected via the cable, don't have anything connected to the CIV port, just have the PC install the software, install the drivers, and then once all that's done, plug in the USB port, and the PC will initialize all the drivers and the COM port numbers. And the thing to remember about that is also just let it take its time. It might take a few minutes on the first time. So run up control panel. Okay, running up the control panel then. Here's the control panel itself, and the first thing to do when you first run the software is it will come up in this state, i.e. disconnected, and what you need to do is to go into connect settings under option and just check. You can select quite a different types of models here, and I've, for example, set the Icom 9100. The remote utility part is to do with the remote control panel part of the software, picking up the CIV data from the remote control utility, so you don't need to worry about that. COM port is the COM port in the USB settings, and you'll find that under the device manager and system. The baud rate in this case is set to 4800 for my radio, and the CIV address is 7C, which is my default address. Audio device is my set of speakers here. IC-PW1 is connected. This is for the Icom linear. I don't have it connected, so I don't need it connected, and just click OK. So the first thing to do once you've done all that is hit the connect button, and now you'll see that it exchanges the data with the radio and is now running. Very quickly, the front panel just looks like the front panel of the IC-7600 and has much of the information on there. The S-meter is updating from across the internet. ALC, compressor and SWR is all the metering that will appear in transmit. So if I was to go to, say, 20 meters here and just hit the transmit button, you'll see that it jumps into transmit. That's fine. And down the side, tune, antenna, monitor, etc. All the sort of transmit functions. Power along the bottom, CW pitch and squelch, RF gain, etc. To tune the radio, just use the mouse up and down, and the radio itself will follow. Just a quick one to remember. I'm in general here, so if I turn that off, I'll just stay with the amateur bands. Just think band, you can still get into the band registers, so that's fine. Band stacking. To get into a lot of the functions, what you need to do is to right-click them, and if you right-click, for example, AGC, you can set here the mid one. Which is where it's set at the moment, and if you then open that tab, then you'll see lots and lots of different settings for AGC delay in the mid setting. If I now change the preamp, you can see that it's changing the preamp number on the side there, and again with the attenuator I can put that on or off. AGC, if I now click on slow, you'll see I can change the settings for slow. And again, with a lot of them, for example, the microphone here, you can set the levels, transmit bandwidths, for example. You can set up all of the functions around transmit, receive, and receive audios. The memory channels here, basically you've got 26 banks of memories, which is somewhat different than the radio itself. It has only 99 channels, and each bank has 100 channels in them. So using the remote software allows you a lot greater access into the memory management for the radio. So I've loaded in earlier some memories in here for a lot of the airband frequencies and for the whole of the Pacific, and yeah, you would use up a whole bank in the radio for that just one purpose. So it's quite flexible. Split frequencies, quite easy to set up splits or duplex, no problem at all. Duplex obviously for repeaters on say 2 meters, and it's quite easy to go up to 2 meters or 430, jumping around 6 meters, for example, 10 meters. Tuning, as I said, use the up-down knob here using the mouse buttons, or if you've got, say, a power knob, you could use that as well. To change the steps, just use the up-down TS tuning step button here, and you can go right down to 1 Hertz here actually, and tuning that way. And I tend to find that the radio tunes quite well. It does follow it very, very well. So it's quite good to do sort of general coverage receiver listening on this. It's not difficult to actually just spin around the band rather than finding it difficult and clunky to tune. One word about the filters that you can set. You can set the roofing filter type. You can also set the sharpness or softness of the filter, and also the bandwidths. And you can change these very much on the fly. So it's quite easy to change the settings for the filtering. And you just close it down and away you go. Just a quick look at the top line here then on the display. Remote on and off. This is for the LAN Internet part of the software. Memory banks, you can change them, and you can also load in the names. And if you actually open that right up, you can see quite a lot of information in there about the memory channels. And as you say, you can change it from all of the different banks, 26 banks. So quite a big piece of software there about the memory management. So I think that about covers the remote control of the panel locally. What we'll do now is we'll look at the remote control facility in the other part, which is the remote utility, and show you how to set up servers, set up radios, and then we'll look in the third part, in the third video, to look at actually how to operate it over the internet. And I'll do that from another PC, and I'll show you the remote control connected both on the LAN here in the shack, and also connected to another radio, actually connecting over the internet, and you'll see there's very little difference. So that about wraps it up for this one. Watch out for the next video, which is part 2, looking at the remote utility portion of the Icom remote software.